I'm Shauna from America's Grow Row. I'm the executive chef here on the farm, and we are here to talk about January's ComMITT Kit, the first ComMITT Kit of the new year. And joining me again is my lovely daughter Isabella to help me show you how to put together this really quick, easy, and adaptable meal. So this month we are doing a sheet pan dinner, and I would love to hear from our participants if you've made sheet pan dinners before and what you include in yours. This month we are just going to do a really simple one. It's going to have chicken parts. I think you have a combo of legs and thighs, and it's going to be potatoes and carrots. So things that everybody in our house likes to eat, but this dish is really adaptable. You can use different kinds of meat, different cuts of chicken. It's also very good with sausages. So you can switch out the potatoes that you have for sweet potatoes or for any other root vegetable like parsnips. And then we have carrots. You know, today carrots are always available year-round. They're a good storage vegetable, and they are really affordable year-round. You could switch these out for any kind of squash. Winter squash like butternut squash would be delicious as well. Let's get started with the chicken. I have a small pack of mixed thighs and legs, and what we're going to do today, which is kind of the culinary trick of the month, is that we're going to make a marinade for the chicken, and then we're going to add to that marinade to make a homemade dressing. We're going to keep the marinade that the chicken is in very separate from what we're going to use for salad dressing, so there won't be any cross-contamination, which is important when you're working with chicken. You want to make sure that you keep your surfaces clean, your hands clean, and anything that chicken touches needs to be washed immediately and can't be used for anything else. So in this measuring cup, we're going to measure the first ingredients for the marinade. We have measured a cup of oil into this measuring cup, and we're going to add the zest and juice of a lime. I have limes in the kitchen today. I think you have a lemon in your box, so you should use that. But this recipe is adaptable, so lemons and limes are pretty interchangeable. They have a slightly different flavor, but they do the same thing in the recipe. So Isabella's going to measure the spices and seasonings into the dressing. So our herbs are a great way to add flavor without adding salt or sugar, which is something we're always looking for when we're trying to eat sort of consistently and nutritiously day in and day out. It's pepper to taste. All recipes say that, right? But let's do maybe 6 or 7 twists of the pepper grinder. You can always add more pepper. You can't take it away though. And then I'm going to add the lime juice. So you'll notice from your recipe that there are 2 steps to making this marinade dressing, and there's a couple reasons for that. The first one is kind of a technical reason. Acidic things like lemons, limes, or vinegars, they start to cook proteins after a while. And I say cook sort of in loose terms. They start to break down the proteins as they sit, and the longer they sit, the more they're going to break them down. We don't really want that. It changes the texture when you go to eat it. For chicken, it makes it kind of mushy and unpleasant. And so that's one thing you want to be careful of if you're marinating chicken, that it's not too acidic. The second thing is that when I tested this recipe at home, I found that if you add the vinegar to the marinade, the whole dish was kind of very acidic. And if you like acidic foods, my kids ate it, they liked it, I liked it. I just thought that it could be a little more mellow. So we're going to do it in 2 parts. We're going to make the marinade with just the lemons or limes, and then once we get it marinating, we're going to add the vinegar, which is going to be really good in the salad dressing. Okay, so this is the marinade. Mix it up a little bit, Isabella. I'm going to take, it smells really good. Smells good, right? All those dried herbs, they really like to be in oil too. It helps them to sort of be their most flavorful. So into this metal bowl that's nice and clean, I'm going to put all the chicken parts I have. So I have a mix of legs and I think 1 or 2 big bone-in thighs. And we're going to pour just maybe a couple tablespoons, not much. You can go 1 and stop, and then 1 more. And that's good. And then you're just going to toss the chicken out, and you're going to set it aside. So you just coat it all And I know I say this every month, but it's true every month. This is how I like to cook. I like to do recipes that you can switch out different flavors. So there's lots of things you could put in here. You could put in onion powder. You could follow your recipe, a recipe for a dressing that you like. You can even put yogurt in here if you like creamy dressings. Yogurt's kind of nice as a marinade. Yeah, it helps keep chicken and fish really juicy when you use yogurt. Okay, so this is taking its bath in this little marinade. We're gonna put it over to the side. If it's gonna take you much longer than about 5 minutes, I'd put it in the fridge. But it's not gonna take us very long. So we're just gonna put it over here. And we're gonna keep the chicken tongues in with the chicken. We're not gonna use it for anything else. And we're gonna finish off our dressing now, okay? So Isabella is gonna add about 1/3 of a cup of vinegar. So a vinaigrette dressing is one that's made of oil and vinegar, and a traditional ratio is 1 cup of oil to 1/3 of a cup of vinegar. You can add red wine vinegar, apple cider vinegar. We also have white balsamic vinegar here. Any kind of vinegar that you really like, you can add. So let's go with the red wine vinegar. The kind of cool thing, and I think my kids like this, is when you make dressings like this, the densities between the oil and the vinegar are different, so you get kind of these layers. It's sort of pretty. So this is all done. What I like to do at home is save the bottles from bottled vinegar salad dressing and put my homemade dressing in this. So I brought this from my house today. Obviously the bottle was made to hold dressing, which is really nice. It fits nicely in the fridge, and it's another use out of this bottle instead of throwing it away. So we're gonna put this to the side, and we're gonna move on to our vegetables. So today we're doing just carrots and potatoes. You can adapt this however you'd like. I chose carrots and potatoes because they take a little bit longer to cook. We have chicken parts that take a little while to cook, so I wanted vegetables that cooked at roughly the same amount of time. If you want to add other vegetables that are a little bit more tender, like broccoli, even cauliflower, anything that's a little softer, you'd add it halfway through the cooking period. So you would put the chicken and the vegetables that take a while in first. You could set a timer on the oven to add the other vegetables onto the sheet pan sort of midway through so they don't overcook. What other vegetables do you think you would like on this?
Cauliflower and potatoes together.
Cauliflower and potatoes is good. And then you could make the seasoning like with sort of like cumin or curry powder, so it tastes sort of kind of Indian. That's a favorite flavors in our house, is Indian flavors. Okay, so a couple things. I never peel potatoes unless I'm making like mashed potatoes over the holidays. I just think that it's an extra step that I don't really want to take. You just make sure you clean them really well. If you don't like the skins, you can peel them, but the skins have lots of fiber and a lot of stuff that's good for you in it. Carrots, it's your preference as well. So this is a bit of an older carrot and looks a little beat up. I'm gonna peel this one today. Sometimes in the summer or spring you get carrots from farm stand or nearby, and they are just beautiful and bright, and they don't need to be peeled, they can just be scrubbed. So we're gonna wash these carrots and potatoes and peel them. We're back from washing the carrots and the potatoes. Potatoes are nice and clean. Isabella is gonna peel a couple of these carrots. You generally want about 1 carrot or 1 potato per person in the house. You can do more if you're extra hungry, or if you got a kid that's growing, or if you want to have leftovers for the following day. Cook once, eat twice is one of my mottos. So Isabella's gonna peel this. Peeling carrots or potatoes is a great job for kids that are on the younger side. They don't want to use a knife because it's pretty safe, but that they're old enough and strong enough to sort of work with them. It's a good tool to get them used to using. And if you're doing something with potatoes and you want to peel them, it's nice to have help. And so Isabella's going to peel those carrots, and I am going to cut potatoes. So with potatoes and with anything, I always cut it in half to get to a flat side. And these are going to be cut roughly into 1-inch pieces. You don't want them too small because then they'll cook really, really quickly, and our chicken is going to take a little while to cook. So this is about the smallest that I would do. It's about 1 inch. And then once Isabella finishes peeling the carrot, she's going to cut the carrot into similar sizes as well. It's a good tip when you are roasting vegetables all together at the same time. You want to make sure that they are all roughly take the same amount of time to cook, and that they're all cut at roughly the same size, so it's even and they'll cook evenly. If you clean your carrots and potatoes really well, you don't have to worry too much about peeling them perfectly. It just takes out off the outer layer, but they're even if they don't look sparkling clean, they're very clean. So I'm gonna show you what size. You could just cut them like this, or you could cut the whole thing in half to get to a flat side and then run your knife down. Okay, so when I finish cutting those, I'll cut some potatoes. Okay, we've chopped up the potatoes and the carrots, and we are going to put them in. I'm gonna pick yours up, put them in with the chicken for a couple reasons. One is that we want the potatoes and the carrots to taste really good. This marinade has a lot of flavor. But the marinade also has oil in it, which is going to help stop the potatoes and the carrots from sticking while we're roasting them. So, should we do that? And you want to give me that sheet pan? So we're going to put, Isabella lined this with foil for me earlier. It's also a really good job to teach your kids on how to safely use like a thing of tin foil or parchment paper, and then they can help get you ready. So we're gonna pour everything out, and you, as much as possible, you want everything to be on one layer. And it's gonna take a little while. Chicken with the bone in takes a little bit longer than boneless chicken, but you'll know it's done when the meat starts to pull away from the bone a little bit. The potatoes will be brown. It'll smell really good. It's one of your favorite flavors. It smells, right?
Yeah, I love smelling like cooking potatoes. I love potatoes in garlic.
She does love potatoes and garlic.
Like super garlicky potatoes.
Okay, so we're gonna put this in there. We're gonna put these in the oven. So depending on how thick your chicken is, how much is on your pan, and how hot your oven really is, it could take anywhere from half an hour to an hour for them to be totally cooked all the way. What I like to do when I don't know exactly how long something's gonna take is I set alarms for 15 minutes or 20 minutes, just so you can keep an eye on it. But this meal is great because there's not a lot of cleanup once it's done, but there's enough time when it's baking to sort of deal with the other stuff we have to deal with at dinner time. So cleaning up, you can make a salad, you can serve this with rice or farro, and then of course we have this beautiful salad dressing, so you can make a little side salad and mix anything together that you want. You can even use this as a dip, to dip carrot sticks or something in with your kids. So we'll be back soon with the finished dish. So our chicken's all done. I just pulled it out of the oven, and you can tell it's done because the chicken is nice and brown. The potatoes are soft. You know, sort of push through with a knife or a fork or the tongs. They are starting to get a little bit of color. If you like your potatoes crispier, you can roast it for longer. If your chicken's already done, you can take the chicken out and let the vegetables go for longer. I mentioned at the beginning that you can adapt this in a lot of different ways. So this took about 45 minutes to cook. If you wanted to add a softer vegetable like broccoli or cauliflower, I would put it in when there's about 20 minutes left. If you wanted to add a very tender vegetable like a green bean or even kale or spinach, I would put it in with just about 10 minutes left. It doesn't take long at all. So I'm really excited to know how you guys cook and eat this dinner, and if you come up with other sheet pan dinners that you can use with your family. I really enjoyed making this month's meal, and I look forward to seeing you next month. Thanks a lot. Bye.